Hello everybody, welcome back to the stream. Your favorite niche e-celeb is back. So today we're going to be doing some fun stuff. I want to work specifically on some effects for the cards to show when they've been alchemized and when they've been enchanted. Admittedly, this is not a super important thing to work on. I don't think it's necessary for the playtest, but it's been something that's been stuck in my mind since I thought of it. And I don't really have anything better to work on the stream right now, at least planned out. So that's what we're going to be doing. It should be fun, and maybe it'll go well, and maybe it will go terribly. That's why it's going to be an experimentation stream. But before I get into it, I want to remind everyone that Gunforged is available for sale. It's a great way to support me, and it's a great way to pick up a fun game, I think. So you can purchase it now, or you can wishlist it and wait for a sale, which may or may not be happening in the near future. And you can also check out my Udemy courses. This one is the Survivors course. This teaches you how to build a complete game in the Godot engine. So if you want to know, like, what does it look like to go from an empty project to a complete buildable, exportable game with music and sound effects and composition-based design, showing all the steps to refactor and all that good stuff. It's pretty comprehensive. You get basically everything that you need to make a 2D game. This is what you can do. You can purchase this. Again, it's a great way to support me, and it's a great way to learn. So check out the links in the description singular for those links. And yeah, that's it. Okay. Hello, Kinyaz. Welcome back. Good to see you as always. Hello, Edo Makes Games. Welcome back to everyone. Any Key, good to see you. Exio, welcome. Marcos, welcome back. Good to see you. Rookie Tookie, hello. Parallel Highway, hi. I thought you weren't streaming today. Did I say that? If I said that, I misspoke. Good morning, Vaughn. Check out the descriptions in the description where you'll find the description of the descriptions. Yes, indeed. You just got to get those keywords in place, you know. Just say description over and over and over again. Condition the viewers, you know. Anyway, so give me 1 second here before we get into it. Oh, the cat is back. Hello. Hello. All right, so yeah. Right now, one of the problems of the cards is that it's not easy to tell which cards have been alchemized and which have been enchanted, which is actually... It's actually kind of... Let me think. It actually has bitten me a couple of times. So when you alchemize something that has an enchantment, it is hard to tell in the outputs which of the outputs have enchantments as well, because the enchantment can be alchemized onto new cards as well. So you can't really tell at a glance which of the outputs has enchantments and which doesn't. So it would be useful, definitely, to have that kind of effect. Also, just generally indicating when a card has been altered so that it's not its default card. Godot show now JSON file. I guess so. Yeah, I guess so. I don't know. I don't edit these JSON files. Maybe that might be related to my configuration. Is it? I don't know. I actually don't know. But anyway, let's get working on this effect here. So I have a test card here where I can do my various tests. We've got this card mask, which has a shader material, which is this ripple here. So this is the effect that plays when the card attacks or when it gets activated. So probably going to need another... Let me think about how I want to do this. I was thinking about just playing a shader effect on the border, but I could also play a shader effect in the background spaces here as well. Let me think. let's maybe just do, let me do this. Oops. You didn't see that. Let's see. Open file. Let's try it on the border first. Card. Background. Take this 1x2. We'll select all of this. Yeah, we'll just do 1x2 border mask. Export. Okay. So I'm just going to work in this test card for now. I'm not going to alter my base card class. Okay, so there's my border mask. So I'm thinking what I'll do is I'll just do a basic, like... Actually, I wonder if particles would be better for this. Let's try it with a shader first. Material. Nope, I gotta go up here. New shader material. New shader. We'll just make this built-in for now. Okay. Uniform. Sampler 2D. Noise texture. Filter. Do I want to do a filter nearest on this? I don't think so. Let's just do that. So we got the noise texture. Let's just create a noise texture in there. Where is my shader parameters? Here it is. New noise texture. Fast noise light Perlin. And let's just do whatever. That's fine. Change the seed. Okay. Do you need a lot of math knowledge to do shaders? I think a lot of math knowledge. Yeah, I think if you want to be decent at writing shaders, you need to have at least a good understanding of trigonometry as well as some linear algebra. I'm not an expert in shaders by any means, so there's a lot that I don't know. There's a lot that I don't know how to do. So anyway, what are we doing? So this fragment here, we need the noise sample. So let's just do vec4. Actually, let's just do float. Noise sample is equal to, we'll get the noise texture. So now I'm already forgetting. Here we go. Texture, noise texture. We're going to sample at that UV. But we want to scroll the noise texture. So what I'll do is I'll say vec2 noise UV is equal to UV plus, let's just do vec2. I don't know, we'll do like 0.1. I'll make these configurable later, but 0.1 times time. 0.05 times, wait, do I want to do? Maybe we'll just do 0. This needs to be .r. This will be the noise UV. And let's just see how that looks. Color, actually, noise color. I see. Repeat enable. Okay, so that's a little bit weird. Let's reverse these. Oh, that's weird. That might work though. I might change. Let me try this. Let's edit some of the properties in here. That works. I can see the seams in here. I wonder why that's happening. Anyway, maybe it's not super important. Am I allowed to do constants in here? Const. Noise. Maybe noise cutoff. Oops. All right, so we're going to need the texture color now. So let's do this. Vec 4 texture color is equal to texture UV. How do I use the step here? Oh, I need the GDScript shader reference. Okay, where's the step function in here? So if B is less than A, it returns 0, otherwise 1. So if A is greater than B, it will return 1. Okay, so I think I need the step function here. I'm trying to do this without if statements. Basically what I want to do is take this cutoff value and compare that to the noise sample. I'm just going to make this easy for me to understand. Multiplier is equal to step. Kind of like the card back animations in Balatro. Kind of, yeah. You're making a holographic card effect. No, I'm not making a holographic. I don't think I have enough resolution, like rendering resolution, to make a holographic effect. This is really just like a handful of 1 pixel wide borders. So I'm just going to make a very, hopefully subtle effect and call it good. Also, I'm realizing that I'm setting this up wrong, but that's okay. But you never needed to find local maximum with second derivative rule. I probably did that in one of my calculus classes in college, but I have no idea what that means anymore. SOHCAHTOA, yes indeed. Hello, Turbo Shook. I was trying to do some custom commands to create more easy passives in general using config file. Do you think it's a good idea? Event on enemy heal. I mean, the problem with doing a config file like that is that you have to create a very good framework for your like ability API, which means that it has to be relatively granular so that you can be flexible in your ability to define things through a config file. I never went through for a config file way of doing things because I don't want that level of granularity. I don't want to have to write new APIs to support, you know, like doing things through a config file. That said, if you think that's going to improve your workflow to create new things, then I think it can be a good idea. And I think it would be especially useful if you're trying to have like user created spells or mods or something. So it can work. I mean, that's what, like, you know, more professional developers will do, especially if they have like designers that are designing the gameplay aside from the gameplay programmers. They'll have like little light scripting frameworks for the designers to go in and like create new abilities and stuff. Hello, Ollie. Welcome back. Make width greater than the card and change the offset to try to hide the vertical seam. I don't know if that vertical seam is real, but we'll see. Hello, Snupbill. Welcome back with the message Yummers and the IDR 20,000. Thank you so much. That's very generous as always. I very much appreciate it. And yeah, hope you're having a good day. Always good to see you here. We got the Yummers. Yes, indeed. Chris. York's profile pic is the Phoenix. I want a profile pic too. Feel free, snag a picture of the stream. I posted the Phoenix on my X, formerly known as Twitter, account as well. So you can go there if you want to get a cleaner screenshot of it. How would you do like an array of some kind of resource, but in this resource you would put, for example, Path3D or some class that extends from Node 3D? Well, I don't know exactly what your use case is, but you, let's see, some kind of class that extends from Node 3D. You can pass a reference to a script inside of a resource, and then you can instantiate that script from the resource if you want. So you can definitely like create like a file export that points to a script file. And then that script file can contain the implementation of your Path3D or your Node 3D if you want. Why did you decide to use the game engine instead of game framework? I'm asking because I see that you're great at coding. You code a lot of features. Yeah, so I think I don't want to... The problem when I make frameworks myself is that I get stuck in a loop of like deciding whether I can make do with the framework features that exist or if I need to modify the framework to support what I'm doing. And using a game engine is basically a way of me saying, here's all the engine functionality. If you can't do what you're trying to do with the engine functionality, then you need to take a different approach. It's a nicer way of keeping me on track of actually building the game. And I also don't want to get bogged down with like trying to figure out, is this bug happening because there's a problem in my framework, or is this bug happening because, you know, I wrote the gameplay logic wrong? And of course, it just adds a lot of time too. So I would say that yes, generally I'm a good developer, but I'm always in favor of like just using the tools that let me build the thing as quickly as possible. I like to actually get the work done and like get stuff showing on screen. I don't like necessarily to do all the back end like setup framework work. Hello, iCode stuff. Welcome back. Always better to ask for forgiveness than permission. That's some life advice for you. I want something cool. Well, I posted another thing on my X account today as well. Yeah, I know. Yeah. Excuse me. Hello, Artem. Welcome. I love that eye emoji. Good morning to you as well. Oh, I think... Oh, that's a duplicate message. I'm pretty sure, yeah, I already said good morning to you, but good morning again. Hello, OC Richie. Took me 10 years to pick a game engine. Right, yeah. I've tried to write an engine. I end up trying to think way too far ahead and end up so tied in the tiny implementation details. Yeah, that's really a good summary of how I feel about it, too. It's like, I don't really want to focus on the implementation. I want to focus on building the game. Oh, yeah, that's a good... Yeah, that might be a good way of approaching it. Quick question. I'm thinking about prototyping a game. It sounds really good, and I want to release it. As a commercial release. As a commercial release. What do you think I should do? I mean, like I said, I think take my advice in terms of doing commercial releases with a grain of salt, because it's something that I'm still doing myself. But if you are excited about an idea and you think the idea has like commercial viability, then what I would do is do exactly what you're saying, create a prototype, and then gather feedback on it in any number of ways. Like, try to get people to play test it, ideally. But even like what I'm doing here with this game is I haven't actually put this game in anyone's hands, but I've been showing it off on the streams and stuff and collecting feedback. And one of the reasons why I think my game has legs as like a viable commercial release is because people keep making comments to that effect, right? Like, the art is very striking, or this game sounds really fun to play, or it's like, you know, I'm getting that kind of like feedback that's pointing in the direction of it being commercially viable, but I'm not really going to know that until I get the game into the hands of some playtesters and get a sense of like, you know, is this game going to be worth $10 or so or whatever I sell it for? And are people actually going to spend hours playing it, you know? I got a call as soon as I posted it and then pulled into that. Sorry, that's okay. I feel like a dweeb logging into X. I want to create a car spawner where I can define the parameters for the cards in a resource, but I also want to choose where to spawn them. I would have to put this in the path 3D. I see. Yeah, linking up like resources to where things should go spatially is a tough problem. You could either store all the points that you want to put them at in the resource and then load those into the path 3D, although that can be difficult because then you won't have the ability to visualize it. So what you could do is you could create a standalone path 3D scene, right? So it's a scene with a root type of path 3D that has the path that you want in it, and then you can just pass a resource, or you could pass a reference to that packed scene, which is the path 3D, into your resource, and then you can instantiate that in conjunction with the resource. Does that make sense? Develop a vertical slice and get feedback on that. Yeah. Are publisher contacting you? I think they are. I've had some conversations with a quasi-publisher. We'll see how that goes. Your prototype looks like a finished product. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of like what a vertical slice is that you want it to give the impression of being a full game while also still being relatively narrow in scope. Probably going to start prototyping, put it on r/Godot, see what people think. Also, what you doing? I'm trying to come up with a visual effect to indicate when a card has an enchantment on it. So let's see what we're doing here. So step, if B is greater than A, then 0. Noise sample, noise cutoff. So there's our multiplier. Okay, so we got our multiplier. So now we're going to say our color is equal to mix. Let's do this. Texture color, noise color, and then we got our multiplier. Oh. Color dot A is equal to texture color dot A. Okay, so that's kind of what I'm going for. So now I can play with this. Turn the frequency up. Okay, so this kind of looks bad in the editor, but one of the reasons why I'm doing this is let's do uniform sampler 2D, no, uniform vec4 enchant color. This is a, is that right? Enchant color. Oh, how do I make this a, is it source color? Yeah, source color. There we go. Okay. So this noise color can go away now. Okay. So now if I go into my chant color and I turn this to the blue color. So I did this wrong. I did this border mask wrong, but so we can see a nice little preview here. That's what that looks like. And it's scrolling up. So I'm curious to see what that actually looks like in game when it gets all crunched down and pixely. Actually, it looks pretty good. I don't know if you can see it that well, but the problem is, since this is 1 pixel wide, it doesn't really give the impression of being like a wave or anything. Or like, it doesn't look exactly like what it looks like in here, but I think that's probably okay. So now I did this wrong, so I need to redo how I'm laying this out. So I actually need a different sprite under here. And this sprite 2D needs to have its texture as the noise texture in here. So copy that, paste that there. Okay. I'm gonna copy this material, paste that on the sprite 2D here. But now I don't need this noise texture anymore. So let me just comment this out. This noise sample now is going to be texture noise UV. I think this should just be a vec 40. Okay. There we go. Okay, so that's a little bit better. Now this border mask here, that shader is going to go away. And what I'm going to do is we're going to change this to mask. Although now I'm wondering if this is even necessary. Maybe the way I had it was better. Let's do this. Clip children, clip only. So we're going to get more of a wavy kind of pattern here, which might be better. Let me turn up the frequency or down the frequency. And then we can turn this time down as well. So let's see how that looks. So this is more of what I was going for. So my plan is to chop this off like halfway so that I can do another effect coming down from the top of the card to indicate whether the card has been enchanted. Although I don't know if I like that now. I think I liked the other version better, but let's see. Turn up the frequency a little bit. Could probably turn this down as well this time. Make it even slower. Just give it a really subtle effect. Oh, that's too slow now. It's too jerky. I don't know, how are we feeling about this? It's hard to get accurate feedback by showing your work to fellow devs, be a masochist and let a kid play your game and roast you. Yeah. True. What sucked, Kiniaz? You know how to work with shader language? I'm very, very basic with shaders. I have a question regarding the course. What is your logic behind the design when you use export and reference to pack scene and when to use node or other class? I think maybe I'm misunderstanding because I think export is for when you need to supply an external reference to your class, and Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what the difference is that you're seeing. So, I mean, I guess I can elaborate on when to use export with packed scenes. Again, it's going to be up to your judgment, basically. But typically, when I have a scene that I need to spawn or some other scene that's going to be kind of configurable. So let's take Gunforged, for instance. So with Gunforged, every gun type can potentially have its own muzzle flash effect, right? But all the guns do the same thing. They all shoot, and then they play a muzzle flash effect. So in order to know which muzzle flash I should spawn, I make an export reference to the packed scene that I can then drag over and supply to the gun. So that way, the gun doesn't have to change its code, its logic. It's just receiving the packed scene that it should spawn, and it's spawning that in an agnostic way. So that's a great use for it. If you have a scene that you just want to have a reference to, it's another good way of doing it. It's an alternative to like load or preload for getting scenes, references to scenes. There's no traditional animation challenge, right? How is it compared to doing it frame by frame? Yeah, it's working well. I mean, I think the most important thing is just maintaining a style, right? So the style of this game is there's no frame by frame animation. So it's kind of a challenge, yes, but also it's like it gives the game a very strong visual identity to not have any frame by frame animations. And so I think it's for style reasons, and also because I just don't want to do frame by frame animations. Yeah, that's exactly right, Adam. I don't want to do them, but also it is a stylistic choice too. Good morning, Arion. Welcome back. Hard to think he's a coder first before as an artist. I really like his art. Thank you, Pilato. I appreciate that. That makes sense, but I have multiple path 3Ds in this scene, and doing an exception only for path where the car spawns is a bit weird. Oh, yeah. I was also thinking about just pasting their unique name in the path or using a node path, but I don't think that's a great idea. Yeah, it sounds like a tough problem, honestly. Yeah, I don't know if I can give you better advice than what I've given you without knowing more about your system. Like, I'd have to have a better understanding of what you're doing to have a better advice, but it does sound like a tricky problem. I don't know if there's an obvious good path there. Are you okay with not pixel perfect pixel art games? VFX with different pixel sizes, etc. Yeah, to an extent. I mean, so the particles in this game can definitely be not pixel perfect because I'm scaling them. So I'm scaling the pixel texture to be either smaller or larger than a single pixel, or then smaller or larger than its ratio is what I mean. But in terms of like all the hand-drawn stuff, all of that needs to be the same ratio. So I'm not going to draw, like, you're not going to see a card that has like texels that are 2 by 2 instead of 1 by 1. Hello, Cat Hugger. Today you got 53 views. Yeah, it's going well. What are we making? We're doing a shader effect for the card to indicate when it's enchanted. Yeah. So I don't know. How are we feeling about that? I don't know if you can see it that well, but I think maybe let's do this. First of all, this texture is too big. I think it would be actually better to thicken it up a little bit. Let's see how that looks. What happens if I do this? Let's see. Const float noise highlight cutoff. Let's do 0.75. Uniform vec for enchant highlight color, source color, color equals mix, enchant color, enchant highlight color with highlight multiplier. Oh, that did not work. Oh, maybe it did. Wait a minute. I forgot how step works again. If B is less than A, 0. These should be reversed. Oh, this needs to be color. Okay. So now, if I change this... Oops. This enchant highlight color to that. We're going to get some pixels in here that are going to be brighter. See? Maybe I'll change the cutoff to 0.7 instead. Okay, let's see what that does. So it adds a little bit more color to it. That looks better. That looks better. Okay. Hello, A the Ant. Let's see. Good morning, Shalurgi. Working on refactoring my game to use better and more consistent logic, and it's definitely a daunting task. One of the cons of being a fresh dev, I guess. Yeah, it can be, for sure. It can be. Making a game by yourself is fun now. Feels good when everything works and the thing comes to life. I agree. Hello, Christian. Welcome. Good morning to you as well. How's the development today? It's going well, thank you. And welcome back, Jackie Daytona. Welcome, welcome. Understand when you make a ref to a pack scene, but sometimes use export var timer node. And let's say this timer is a part of a other scene like enemy manager. Why to node only? Right, so that will assume, so when you want a reference to a packed scene, that's usually if you want to instantiate something during the game. But if you just need a reference to a node that already exists in the tree, then you can just export a node reference instead and supply that. So it's the difference between something that needs to be created or instantiated and something that already exists, basically. Color. Lava lamp UI, yes. Hello, Neozoid, welcome back. Good to see you. Did you make all the art for your game? I did, yeah. With the exception of the color palette. I did not choose the colors, but I am drawing all the art. Regular time, yes indeed. You're welcome, Artem. Okay, so this is not set up correctly, I don't think. I can't use a clip, a border mask clipping here. So let me think about this. The reason I can't use clipping is because when I do stuff with canvas group, that clipping gets destroyed. So I think I might need to do this. I might need to do this as just a texture without the clip mask here. So I'm using this border mask as a clip sort of thing. If I turn that off, this is what the texture looks like that's scrolling. And that's being clipped here, but again, that's not going to work with canvas group. So let me just commit what I have so I don't, or I'll stage what I have so I don't lose anything. Unfortunately, I think I need to go back to this level though. So let's do that. So we want the noise texture in there. I'm going to copy this. Oh, I guess I need to copy this material first. Copy, paste. We'll get it working. Copy, paste. Noise sample is going to be noise texture. Okay, so this is not going to work as well, but float, or no, vec4, texture, color. Oh wait, we have the texture color here. There we go. Oh wait, do I want that? No, I don't want that. Wait, I don't want this line. No, I do need that line. I need the black in here to be transparent. That's not working. Am I going to not be able to do this? I need the black to be transparent. How? Wait, so this is mixing. Huh? Oh. It's this line. So color.a equals texture color.a. Right, so those parts are black. Oh, interesting. So, is there a way that I can not do that? Times equals is not going to work, is it? Oh, it is. Yeah, times equals. There we go. Okay. Now the frequency settings and all that have gotten messed up. Oh, wait. Do I still have the visibility? Oh yeah, disabled. There we go. So that's working good. Looks beautiful. Thank you. That's okay. Already finished the core of my shooter, but sorry, accident type. That's okay. That's okay. All right, so now I got to figure out what to do about this. How do I make... I think what I want is I want this UV to be square instead. The problem is that if I'm going to make this generic... Yeah, let me think. I may just have to set this noise texture to be a multiple of the size. So how big is this? $18 by 36. So if I do 18 times 10 and 36 times 10. Oh, oops. Do I want to do a 10 multiple? Let's do 18 times 5, 36 times 5. I could just do 18 by 36, I suppose. Maybe it should be at least, yeah, times 5. So I may have to programmatically set the width and the height of this texture so that it has a proper ratio. Or I could adjust it in the fragment shader here instead. I think this is probably a better approach though. Okay, and then let's change this time again. All right, let's see what that does. Okay, I think that's okay. What I'll probably do so I don't have to reach into the shader parameters is I'll probably elevate this to an export on the card level. So I can configure it, and then when the card gets loaded, it can set the width and the height of that texture. And then pass that in, or, well, since it's already shared by reference, it'll just be updated in the shader parameter itself. So I basically need to have this texture be the same ratio as the card. So I could have square cards, I could have cards that are longer than they are, or taller than they are wide, or wider than they are tall. So I think this is a good approach. Happy Creeper, right on time, yes indeed. So the kind of last thing that I want to do here is not necessarily fade it out, but cut it off if the UV is greater than a certain value. Because again, I'm probably going to want to do a similar effect for something like whether it's been alchemized. So if I can make this fade out, that would be ideal. Can I reassign the multiplier is equal to... Can I just nest some steps here? Oh wait, that doesn't make any sense. Let's do times step uv.y. If b is less than a, 0, right? Why did they do it this way? Why didn't I just say a greater than b? Doesn't that make more sense? So if the first argument is greater than the second argument, it returns 1. uv.y 0.5. Of course I did that wrong. That's okay. Need to multiply this out here as well. So what I'm essentially doing is I'm cutting the effect off halfway through the texture. The problem is it's not really fading out though, so I probably want to make that more gradual. How do I make that more gradual? Maybe I could apply some kind of gradient here. Let me think about this. So this down here is going to be a UV of 1, right? Or does it go from bottom up? Wait, so if 0.5 is greater than the UV.y, oh, it goes from bottom up. Is that right? Yeah. So it goes from bottom up. So this is 0 at the bottom and this is 1 at the top. So I basically want to, after a certain range, maybe just naturally fade out the Perlin noise by making it less dense as it gets toward the middle. So the way that I would do that is just multiply the noise sample by some kind of modifier. So let's do this instead. Float gradient multiplier is equal to what? Let's do UV, no. Yeah, UV.y oh, now basic algebra is going to stump me here. Smooth step. Oh, what is smooth step? Between 0 and 1 when A is less than C is less than B. Ooh, very nice. Smooth Hermite interpolation. What? Between A and B by C. I don't know what my C value would be though in this case. What would my C value be? Oh, I want to interpolate between 1 and 0. 1, 0. But my C value... Yeah, that's the problem. I know that I need to interpolate between 1 and 0, but I don't know what my C value is supposed to be. That's the thing that I'm trying to figure out. So I want my C value to basically be... Why does this need a vec type? I don't understand. Why does this need a vec type? Am I doing something wrong? I don't understand this. How do you interpolate between two floats by a vec type? That doesn't make any sense. Am I missing something? Let's make this bigger. Oh. Doesn't need to be a vec type. Okay. Basically what I need is I need a tiny range here. I need like the range from 0.5 UV to like 0.4 UV. Or maybe 0.3 UV, 0.35 UV. I need that range. So basically once this crosses the threshold of like 0.4 UV, it should interpolate from 1 to 0 until it reaches 0.5. So that's what I'm trying to do. I don't know if smooth step is going to work here because I still need this step factor. And that step factor is what the problem is. C, no, the C is not the value being interpolated. I don't think. It says interpolate between A and B by C. So C is like the weight. And we could actually go down here. Okay, well that doesn't help either. Is there like a map? Nope. Well, let's see if there's anything else helpful here. Clamps X between min and max. Do I want to do that? Linear interpolate. Let's do this. I really need like a remap function or something. So we get the current UV.y value. I want to map it from a range of 0 to 1 if it's in between the range of 0.4 to 0.5. Let's just look it up. Remap range function. What? Oh, that's too difficult. I don't want to do that. C will be interpolated so long as it is in between the two limits for smooth step. It's the two limits, so that's what it is? I don't think that's right, but let's see. Smooth step, my limits are 0.4 and 0.5 UV.y. And then oh, maybe that is right. Is that right? It looks like it's happening more than halfway through. "22 pixels. I think that's still wrong. That's not... It should be stopping at 0.5 in the UV, and that's not what's happening. Oh wait, this is a multiplier. Okay, wait a minute. No, there's two... Wait, there's two different things going on here. I need a gradient multiplier, so I need to multiply this by some value. I'm just mixing up a bunch of things. So the texture needs to stop at 0.5 UV. That's the major thing. The texture needs to stop at 0.5 UV, but this noise cutoff needs to be multiplied by a certain value. Float noise cutoff multiplier. That doesn't work either. Oh wait, I'm still doing this step here. Nope, that's not working. I don't think the smooth step is being used correctly. Yeah, I don't think that's how smooth step is working. I really don't. In between, C is interpolated using Hermite smoothing and a step between the two limits. Am I even doing this right? Hold on. No, I was wrong about the UV. The UV goes from top down. Okay, so maybe this was working. I just had a misunderstanding of the UV. Get rid of this. Ugh, shaders are so hard because you can't debug them. I have no idea what these values are. What does that do? Okay, so that's working. Why does that not work? Noise cutoff. When A is greater than that, it returns 1. So if I do times 0, this should do nothing, right? Oh, but it mixes the whole color. Oh, shoot. Maybe there's something else wrong here. Step. If A is greater than B, it's going to return 1. Okay, there's something iffy going on here. So I just need this to be transparent up here. Doesn't this violate the 8 color thing? Yeah, there's not supposed to be transparent. Like, it's not going to be a transparent fade. What's supposed to happen is that the noise sample is going to be scaled down to 0 instead. So the effect is just going to get weaker as it goes to the middle. I'm only half paying attention while working. So I might have missed the end intent. Shaders are my favorite thing to work on. Why not use Material Maker or Visual Shaders? I don't do enough shader work to invest the time to learning those things. The way I debug shaders is by using visual debugging. Float debug value, color equals debug value. Oh, interesting. I feel like that's still hard to understand though, because then it has to be mapped of a range from 0 to 1. So it's not that useful for seeing values that could be greater than 1. Anyway, I love the Phoenix sprite. Thank you, GN Rashu. I appreciate that. We'll get this figured out. I think the problem now is that the color is being made solid after the cutoff, which is not right. What happens if I put that old step that I had in there? It's creating that solid block again. Why is this not fading out the way it should be? That's not right. The effect should get weaker up to the border point, to the point where it's like not visible, but that's not happening. Noise cutoff multiplier. This should basically be 0 when we approach 0.5. Maybe it's a problem with how I'm doing the texture down here. Okay, let's just start with one color. Get rid of this step. Is this multiplier not right anymore? Let me just make sure. When I multiply by 0, it makes a solid color. Why is that happening? Why is that happening? Why is that happening? If this is 0, this multiplier should be 0. But it's instead becoming solid. What's going on? You can visually inspect, yeah. When you say the effect should get weaker, do you mean the frequency should decrease as you move up the sprite? No, it should become transparent. Is the multiplier not meant to be used outside of the step? Sorry, the noise cutoff multiplier. This noise cutoff is just a value in the range of 0 to 1. So essentially what I'm trying to do is like this noise cutoff value is it should go to 0 in accordance with this smooth step, such that the result essentially becomes that this multiplier ends up being 0 as you approach halfway through the texture. And then when that multiplier is used in the mix, it should mix a fully transparent color with the enchant color with a factor of 0, which means a 0% mix. So it's basically supposed to return a transparent color if this multiplier is 0, but that's not happening. It's doing the opposite. And I'm pretty sure the multiplier is 0. I mean, if I set the multiplier to 0 here, That makes it transparent. So this multiplier is for some reason 1. What am I doing? What am I doing wrong here? Step. If B is less than A, 0. This should be 0. Let's get rid of the smooth step here. Well, I'll just do 0 in here. Yeah, so when that value is 0, it makes a solid color. Why is that happening? Maybe 1 minus noise cutoff? 1 minus multiplier? Why would that... But my problem is, why is this multiplier 1? That shouldn't be happening at all. This is A. A is 0. This has to be 0. This noise sample is going to be a value greater than 0. So if B is less than A, we're supposed to get a 0 value here. Oh, is it just an order of operations? 1.0. No, see, I need the value 0 to be in here. But this multiplier is 1 for some reason. Why is it 1? I want the texture to become transparent the higher the y coordinate after a certain point. Yes. Try y times 1.5 minus 0.5. Well, it's not the smooth step that's the problem. I'm not even using the smooth step anymore. I'm just using this step. The smooth step is not operative right now. So with just this, I'm getting a solid color. If I set this to 0, that works. So this step here is not returning 0 for some reason. I keep going back. Am I misreading this? What's going on here? If B, B is less than A. This is so confusing. Why did they write it like this? B is less than A, then 0. B less than A. Okay, this is ridiculous. That's such a confusing way of doing that. Why would you... Okay, anyway. Alright, I think I just had the order of operations wrong, but why was it working before then? Oh goodness, so many questions. Okay, there we go. So do you see how that's blipping out of existence now halfway through? Okay, so I just had the step arguments wrong. That is, can you have made that documentation any more confusing? Why would you make it so that... am I wrong? Is that documentation's not super confusing? So you have two arguments, right? You've got A and B, and essentially step compares them. But then your argument says if B is less than A, return 0. That's like... I don't know. That's just a very confusing way of writing it. Maybe I'm just not that bright, but okay. Anyway. Okay, so now we got to get the highlights back in. I think the smooth step is working. So you can see how it just gets weaker as it goes to the top, and it just kind of like blips out of existence. Yeah, you were onto it, Felipe. You don't need step either. Well, step makes it, well, I guess it doesn't make it easier for me to understand. Yeah, I am multiplying black here. This is the point where most people leave programming, yeah? Wonders of coding. Yeah, why is the second value the lower one? I don't know. That doesn't make any sense to me. I agree that it's odd. It's open source, maybe improve the documentation. No, no improvement, only give, or whatever that meme is. Welcome, Ines, by the way. I don't even know if that's Godot's documentation, because I think it's mostly based on OpenGL. So maybe the OpenGL, let's take a look. Maybe the OpenGL documentation is the same. Comparing X to Edge. Yeah, it's the same order in this documentation here. So the blame is with Chronos, I guess. Anyway, that is just such a, yeah, I don't know, that's a counterintuitive way of presenting the argument order and how they're compared. Check out the image I sent, maybe it's what you need and it's simpler to compute in the shader. Well, I got it already. I'm not going to change it anymore, but let's take a look. Oh, I don't see the message anymore. Let's see. So this is a visual shader. Yeah, I like how it's shown visually there. But yeah, I'm not going to change this to a visual shader. All right, let's figure out the highlight now. Oh, I need to reverse this one too. Oh wait, did I do something wrong here? Maybe this should be 1 minus. What? Okay, now I'm gonna figure this out too. Oh no, this one was in the correct order, I think. Was it in the correct order? Oh, this is going to be tricky. Hold on a second. Hold on. Am I doing this wrong? No. Oh, wait. Why is this broken now? I can't reverse these either. Wow, this is confusing. If it's working, then the tiny computer wizards are doing their job, yeah. Just offering the computation without a step function that is cheaper on the GPU. Oh, I see. Well, I appreciate it, but I'm not really concerned about being efficient here. This is a 2D game. This is going to work on 10-year-old CPU with no integrated GPU. I think. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. But my primary interest whenever I'm writing code is to make it as readable as possible. If that means that it's going to be computationally more expensive, then I'm going to do that. I am totally fine with wasting user computer resources. All right, so that's not to say that step is super readable though, because obviously I keep getting tripped up on it. But now I got to figure out what to do about this highlight multiplier. Let me think. Oh, I'm way past my break time. Okay, let me take a quick 3-minute break. I'll be right back. And when I come back, we're going to figure out what the heck is going on with this highlight multiplier. And then hopefully that will work okay. So in the meantime, please check out the links in the description below. We'll be back with this shader adventure in a couple minutes. All right, I'm back. Who's ready for Shader Adventure Part 2? Hello, Rin. Welcome back. Good to see you. Okay, all right. Okay. Oops. I'm actually not back. I forgot my drink. Okay, give me 15 seconds. Oops. Okay, all right, I'm here. Here we go. Okay, so what is going on here? Let's think about this very carefully. So, step, if B is less than A, then it's going to be 0. So this highlight multiplier is going to be 0. Oh, wait. Okay. So this is exactly what I want. I just need little tiny highlight sections now. Oh, wait. Mix color, enchant highlight color, highlight multiplier. Highlight multiplier. Noise highlight cutoff times. Oh, wait a minute. I don't know. I probably shouldn't be multiplying the cutoff. I should probably be multiplying the noise sample. Maybe that's the problem? Oh. Reverse these. Right. That makes more sense. Oh, wait. There we go. Have we done it? Have we done it? I should have been multiplying the noise sample rather than the cutoff. Right, okay, so this noise cutoff multiplier, we're gonna rename this to noise sample multiplier. Have we done it? Okay, let's see what it looks like. All that work. Playing with shaders and particles. Just shaders, yeah. Now, I actually don't know if that's super noticeable in game, but it does stop halfway through. So the idea is that it just become less dense as it gets up to that stage. I can even make this a little bit more pronounced. Okay. Looks like cyberpunk camo. Kind of does, doesn't it? Sometimes a little break does wonders for the brain, yeah, for sure. Hello, Gath. I have a quick cue about Godot C#. I have made a signal delegate in my global events.cs, but from a player CS, for example, I cannot connect through connect. Signal name. So if you have a global events CS file, you need to get a reference to the event instance, the global event instance. So first of all, if you want to use .connect, it has to be, let me show you. So I have a similar game events. So here, you've got your game events, that's an auto load node. Then you've got your signals here. What you need, if you're using a static class, or if you want to do like static methods, you need a reference to the instance. So you actually need a reference to this game events node. And then once you have that, what I do is I can do game events.instance.connect, right? You can't just do game events.connect because this is a class symbol. This is a reference to that class object, or not. I don't know what the right terms are, but you're not referencing an instance of that class here. You're referencing the class itself. So you need to get a reference to the instance which contains the method connect on it. Well done, good persistence. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. What partial means in the class modifier? This is a partial class. I'm going to get this wrong because I'm not familiar with the partial keyword, but my understanding is that this basically allows you to add more to the class, specifically or especially through source generators. So Godot has a lot of C# source generators that are working under the hood, and the only way to be able to extend a class with source generated code is if you mark the class as partial. At least that's my understanding. If anyone's a C# expert, you can chime in. The class is the class is defined in multiple files. Yeah, okay, so there you go. Thank you, Chris. So I guess the class just gets kind of like all merged together from all those files when it gets compiled. Oh, I see. So you could do that even without... So that's why the source generators work, because you can just create a separate source generated file that has the same class name and namespace. And that's a way of like quote unquote extending it. But you could also do it yourself if you had a particularly large class. You could define it across multiple different files. Very cool. I've never really seen a practical case of doing that outside of source generators, but I suppose you could do that. What am I doing? Okay, so that's good. So I'm going to delete this. So we have a bunch of stuff to do still, but let's do this. So now that I've committed that, I can go ahead and start breaking things now. So I'm going to need to do a bunch of things. I need to create a border mask for all the different card shapes. And I also need to... Okay, there's a lot to do in here. First of all, let's save this shader. Let's make this resource. Okay, let's save this shader. Resources shader, card enchant.gd shader. Do I need to save this material? I'm not sure. Maybe I should. No, I don't think so, actually. Okay, I'm going to copy this over. Actually, let's cut this. We're going to go into card here, paste it there. Okay. This is going to be our enchant effect. That texture is going to need to be set dynamically. Okay, so now I can go, so my test card has that now. Let's go to card here. Let's do an export node in here. Export private texture 2D. Enchant. All right, let's do... I'll call it effect noise texture. Let's build that there. Because Godot almost entirely source generated because you're adding to a partial definition of a partially defined class. Yeah. Use them a lot in NVC implementations of .NET for web app stuff. Nice. Yeah, I got you. I got you. Can you do partial in GDScript? No, you cannot. Hello, Code Red. Welcome back. Good to see you again. How far has your game come? Very, very far. Very far. It's going well. Great to have you here. Hello, Forgotten. Welcome back. Okay, so we've got this enchant effect card here. Oh, right. Did I build this? I did. So let's go ahead and copy this noise texture from here. Copy. Paste. This is a... I'm going to change this type to a noise texture 2D. Hopefully that still works. After I build. Should be fine. So now I should be able to set the width and the height, and I did it. Did I multiply it by 5? I think I did, right? Yeah. So that's what I'm going to want to do. So let's do private const float our int effect noise texture scale factor is 5. game constants. Do I have tile size in here? It's in game utils. Why is this in here? I'm just going to remove these. Put these in game constants. That's going to create some issues for me, but that's okay. Okay. Just doing a little bit of humble refactoring, that's all. That's already done. I could have done a different sort of find and replace, but that's okay. Okay, close all. We'll go back to the card here. So the reason I did that is because why am I using half size? Am I using this anywhere? I'll just create another public vector 2 in here. Public vector 2, full size. Card stats dot dimensions times tile size. Okay, the reason I need that is because let's just in here, let's do this. Noise, we'll say effect noise texture is equal to full size. Oh, dot, oops, dot. How do I set the size? Are these separate properties, width and height? Okay. So dot width is equal to full size dot x times effect noise scale factor. This is a float. This is supposed to be an int, right? Yeah, so we'll just do int. I don't know, actually, speaking of performance, I don't know if this is going to affect anything, but let's see. We'll see if it does or not. Might not be a good idea to change that size, actually, whenever a card is created, but maybe it'll be okay. I don't know. We'll see. Oh, the other problem is that this needs to be, I think this resource needs to be local to scene. Okay, and then we also need to set that in the shader here. We're adding some juice to the cards. Well, we're adding an effect to the card to indicate when it's been enchanted. So we're gonna see how that looks. Hello, Boogie W, welcome back, good to see you. So this effect noise texture needs to be placed inside of the shader parameter here. Oh wait, no it doesn't. Those are shared by reference. So I actually don't need to do anything. The whole point of exporting that was so that I can get a reference to that, and if I change it in code, it should be changed in the shader because it's the same underlying reference. So I think that's okay. Let me think. So I'm going to need to set the texture of... So I need to add something to the card registry here. Public static texture 2D get card border mask. Card cells to border mask texture. Return card cells to border mask texture. We'll do this now. Got some duplicate code in there, but that's all right. Okay, so now I need to create border masks for all of those things. Oops, did I named this wrong. So I have a special way of naming these files, which is a little bit weird, but let's try this. So we might as well do this one by one here. Oops. Let's see. This is going to be a little bit annoying. That's okay. I just want to make sure that these are the same width and height. 18 by 18, yeah, should be. Okay. Let's change this. We're going to change this to white. Go this way. Change that to white. Boom, boom. Fill, delete. One by one. Border mask. Okay. I'm going to edit this one so that it has pure white, so it's consistent. 1 by 3. Two by 1. Okay. Oh, goodness. So that was 2 by 1. Let's do 2 by 2. So this is 2 by 2 minus 0x 1y. So this is where the naming gets weird. So 2 by 2 minus 0x 1y underscore border underscore mask. So basically the file name kind of indicates what the configuration is. So the first, this 2 by 2, that's how many cells it covers as a square. but then anything after the minus is which cells are not included. So 0x means it's 0 in the x, and 1y means it's 1 in the y. So that means that this cell here, which is at 0, 1, doesn't contain anything. And that's just a way of being able to automatically link up based on a card definition resource which textures it needs to use. So I just gotta follow that pattern, and it should just work because I've already built all that stuff out. So then we've got, this one is the same, except it's got a different cell. So this is a 2x2 minus 1x 0y. Border mask. And then this is the same deal as well. Okay, one more. One more and then we're good to go. Okay. Now, I'm not actually conditioning this on having the enchant. I'm not actually conditioning this on having the enchant effect, so we should actually see this in every card when I load the game. The effect is giving me big Eye Ninja door barrier vibes. They also had a moving glowing effect when you couldn't go somewhere specific. Awesome. Very lovely to see. Thank you. That's genius. Yeah, I think... Are you talking about the mask stuff? Game constants. Okay. Just forgot to update the game constants in a couple of places. Something is wrong. I think I know what's wrong. Node, private, node 2D. Enchant effect. This is actually a sprite 2D. So there's a couple of things I need to do. Effect or enchant effect dot texture is equal to card registry get border card border mask card stats occupied cells. Enchant effect dot offset is equal to negative offset. I think that'll work. There we go. So now you can see that we've got the enchant effect playing on everything with the appropriate mask size and everything being used. And it gives it a little bit of a sparkly. It's subtle, but it's like that can indicate when there's an enchantment on the card. I'm just hearing as podcast to know what is happening. That's okay. Hey, let me ask you something. I'm prototyping a card game and we'll have like 3x3 or 4x4 grids. What are your advices? Each slot a tile or a complete sprite? I want to do it in the best way. If you have, yeah, I would recommend you, like these grids here, these are tile maps. So the tile map can then be extended to be whatever size I need it to be, and then I just add some decorations around the borders separately as separate sprites to make it look a little bit nicer. But yeah, I think using a tile map is a good idea. It looks really good, thank you. What about making a negative shader? That's an interesting idea. That is an interesting idea. Makes sense, and do like you teach in the Godot 4 course. Yeah. Tile map looks more flexible. Yeah, I think it is. I think it is. So now the thing to do is to make these enchant. Ooh, and that I automatically get that for free in this view too. Look at that. So now the thing to do is to make this contingent upon actually having an enchantment on it. That looks pretty good. I'm very happy with how that turned out, actually. That's a good looking Phoenix. I think it is, yeah, for sure. Oh, it's your profile. Did you update with the one off my my X account, formerly known as Twitter? Oh, it's still the screen grab? Oh, interesting. Very cool. So the colors are a bit off. Oh, I gotcha. Yeah. I gotcha. So let me think. Actually, I'm going to commit what I have. Look at all these changes. So add necessary changes for cards to have enchant effect. So now I need to actually make this enchant effect visible based on whether it's got an enchantment or not. So I think the easy way to do that is this. Enchant effect.visible. Oh wait, I can just do update art. Let's do update art. I'll just make this update art a general update, maybe update visuals here. I don't know how enchantments are added. I forgot. Add enchant. I can do signals from here, right? I think ref counteds can have signals. Do I want to do signals that way though? Do I want to introduce signals into this? Isn't there a way? Yeah, I can look at all my methods this way. So the weird thing is, like, I have this base card class, which is basically just like a pure class. Why is this ref counted? Is there a reason this needs to be ref counted? Why did I make this ref counted? Oh, I wonder if it's because of this. Let me try something. I'm gonna get rid of ref counted and see what breaks. Right. It needs to be ref counted. So I can instantiate it here, I guess. Okay, the way I'm matching up card definitions to their classes is I'm just loading the class from the disk, which has its downsides, obviously. So anyway, the reason I went down that little rabbit hole is because I'm trying to decide. There's kind of like a fork in the road here. I think so. I don't know how to phrase this. This card stats object here, it is kind of like a wrapper object around the base card class. So this base card class basically is supposed to only be focused around the execution of the card. There's not really anything related to how it's displayed or its current state or anything in here. There is some state like this enchant state, which honestly, kind of sucks. I'm almost tempted to kind of merge these because this card stats object, this card stats object does quite a bit. So it contains the card's debuffs. This is actually kind of messy. Basically, this card stats object is kind of like the bridge. So you've got like the pure logical form of the card, which is the base card. But then you also have to relate that base card to the visuals in the game, right? So you need to have an actual card node that's actually in the grid or whatever. This card stats object is supposed to serve as a bridge between the pure logical side of things and the visual side of things. And so I have methods in here, for instance, like add as child, which I can call to add this card into the tree. And what it's going to do is it's going to figure out, do I have a corresponding node that represents this card? If not, it's going to go ahead and create that card. And then I also have some methods in here, like queue free. I wrote my own queue free method on this card stats object, which will detect if it's got a valid card node that has been created in the tree, and it will go ahead and free that, as well as freeing the card definition resource. This is a little bit less automatic than I would like, but the problem is that I want to be able to pass around the logical form of the card without necessarily having it tied to a node in the tree. And the reason for that is because if I'm looking at my seeded runs here, I've got this shop configuration. This shop configuration has a bunch of card stats objects in here. So this is a purely logical representation of the card that's in this card stats shop configuration, basically. But I think this is actually going to create problems for me, because the way that ref counted works, I may actually have a memory leak in here now that I'm thinking about it. So I might need to come up with a better way of doing this. I may actually need to rethink this whole thing. You take that back. Have you ever used an abstract class? I just realized I have never. Yes, I'm using abstract classes quite frequently in this project. So like base composed ability is an abstract class in here with some default implementations. But also my artifact, base artifact, this is an abstract class that just provides a bunch of methods that I can override. So abstract classes are a little bit nicer than interfaces because you can provide default implementations. I think maybe that changed. I think you can do default implementations in the latest versions of C#, but what's a memory leak, and is it basically what it sounds like? Yeah, it's basically a situation where you keep using more memory, but that memory never gets freed, and so the memory utilization just keeps going up. You can get into that situation with Godot if you have a circular reference. So if you, like in this card stats, I have this as ref counted. Ref counted is a Godot object, a Godot class that will maintain reference counts, so that this can be garbage collected when the number of references goes to 0. But you can create a circular problem where the reference count will never go to 0, even though technically speaking, this card stats object may never be referenced anywhere else again. And that's actually happening in my card object here. So this card object has a reference to the card stats. Actually, I think maybe I fixed the null reference issue. So what I'm doing is I have a circular reference between the card stats and the card node. So this is a card node, and then there's the card stats here. This has a reference to card node, and this has a reference to card stats. But I actually am handling that because when this card node gets deleted, it sets the card stats to null, which should break that circular reference and then should allow this card stats to be freed. So maybe I actually solved that. I'm going to assume that it's solved. Anyway, back to the problem at hand. This add enchant is being called in various places. I want to do this through the card stats object instead. Signal public delegate void enchantment added event handler. I can't pass that in. Public bool has enchantments. So basically what I'm going to do in here is let's change these to add enchant there. So I'm making that add enchant go through the card stats first so that this signal can be emitted, because what I'm going to do is in my card here, I'm going to do card stats.connect, card stats.signal name, .enchantment added, callable.from. We'll just call update visuals there. And then in here, enchant effect.visible is equal to card stats dot base card dot has enchants. Okay, I think that's all right. Let's see. Interfaces can now have default implementations. Welcome back, Edo Makes Games. What is an abstract class? What is it used for? An abstract class is basically a class definition that cannot be instantiated by itself, meaning that it has to be extended in order to create like create an instance of that. So it's basically a way of defining something like a template for any class that extends it without making the class directly instantiatable itself or instanceable. There's a way to detect a memory leak in debugger. Yeah, you basically just have to like look at the debugger and look at the memory usage. I don't know, honestly. I don't have a lot of experience with memory leaks, so. All right. Somebody has decided to mow the lawn during a heat wave, so that's cool. Abstract class is a class which you can only inherit from and you can't create an object. Yeah. Okay. So we can see now that that enchantment effect is not being played anywhere. So let's see if I can find an enchant. There's an enchant up here. So we'll go this way. Go, Phoenix! Oh, it turned into a pile. No. We'll sacrifice the Phoenix. Goodbye. Okay, I don't know why I'm even going through this combat. Goodbye. Alright, let's see if this works. So now it's got that effect because it's enchanted. Cool. Is there another enchantment on the board somewhere? There isn't. Not a lot of experience with memory leaks is a good thing, yeah. You need to run a performance monitor on Godot and watch that memory isn't just increasing forever. Yeah. Yeah, I think that would be the way to do it. And then, of course, identifying where the memory leak is coming from is a whole different ordeal. Whew, I think in today is a McDonald's day. What does everyone feel like about McDonald's? Let's see. That looks really good. I'm really happy with how that effect turned out. It's like subtle, but it also is very obvious that that the card has been changed in some way. So now it's easier to tell at a glance. Oh, you know what? I shouldn't have done that. Because really the whole reason that I wanted to add this kind of effect is because when you do alchemy with an enchanted card, it's hard to tell which of the alchemy outputs retains the enchantment. So I gotta get a map here that has an enchantment as well as an alchemy. There's an enchant. And there's an alchemy. Okay. I'll just skip through this real quick. Okay, so let's go ahead and make sure we're choosing things that can be alchemized together. We'll give that card Echo. Okay, now if I go over to my alchemy here. So if I put this in here and I put this in here, and we alchemize those things together, you can see now that two of the cards at a glance, you can see that they retain the enchantment, right? So now I can choose, I know that this one doesn't have the enchant, so I can take this one here, put it there. And now I've got a very nice indicator. Very cool. Increase board size. I wonder if this thing can just destroy everything by itself. That is a very powerful card. So yeah, lots of balancing to do still in this game, and I can add multiple enchantments to the same thing, but let's add one to this. Boss time. I wonder if I can beat the boss with just these two cards. Oh, nope, I can't beat the boss with just those two cards. Rip. Okay. Anyway. Just make sure that the changes that I made are sensible. Okay, shell enchant effect only for cards. Enchantments. Cool. I made a card game that after 10 minutes it's impossible to play because there's a memory leak in the particle system. I fixed it, but I didn't generate a new build with the fix. Oh, I see. The FPS just go away. If you include 2 apple pies, I'll allow it. Hey boss, what exactly is a signal? Been programming for many years on and off. First time seeing that. That's a Godot annotation. It just marks that a delegate is a signal handler delegate for Godot's purposes. So yeah, it's part of the Godot source generators, I think. Hello, Yeet. Welcome back. The only balance I know is my bank account. Nice. The game is supposed to be dark. Yeah. I mean, people have made comments about it being too visually dark, but I think that's a combination of maybe your device's brightness not being up high enough and also just like the YouTube stream making things darker. It looks totally fine on my monitor, my PC monitor, and this is really going to only be a PC game. Maybe it'll be mobile, but probably not. So it shouldn't be an issue. Okay, that's going to be it for the stream today. Thank you everyone for watching. Thank you all for being here. I'm going to go get myself some lunch. And I also have a all afternoon full of work to do still. So anyway, thanks again for your support. And if you want to support me further, you can check out the links in the description below. Those are all the ways you can support me. Purchase Gunforged. You can purchase one of my Udemy courses. I hope you all have a great day. Double quarter pounder time. Yes, indeed. I hope you all have a great day. Thanks again for being here. And I will see you in tomorrow's stream, which may or may not be at the same time. So you'll have to find out. It's a surprise. Okay. Bye-bye, everyone.